Welcome back to the Nerdrotic channel. My name is Gary Beekler. I am live in San Francisco, California, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com, and it is the Nerdrotic Nooner for 10/8/2018. Good morning, everybody. How's it going? Well, that was quite a weekend. New York Comic-Con happened, and it seems to me, maybe it's just because of the stuff we cover, that more stuff got dropped during New York Comic-Con than San Diego Comic-Con, or at least more interesting stuff to us. How's that sound? We got an American Gods trailer that was quite good, actually. We got a Good Omens trailer that was a very promising show. We got some Star Trek Discovery stuff that, wow, it's the gift that keeps on giving. It really is. It really is, but not in a good way. And of course, we had Doctor Who drop over the weekend. So, and there's so much more to go over. But, basically, this is an open conversation where I can talk to you. We will discuss some of the shows we cover here or talk about whatever the hell you want to, because this is about chat interaction. Been doing the Nooner for a while now. And I got to say, I love it. I fucking love it. I look forward to this. This and Friday night are some of my favorite things to do, because sometimes some of the shows we cover are so-so, and some are really great, but this is the most TV I've ever watched in my life, so it makes me appreciate good writing, or even mediocre writing sometimes, because some of the stuff we get is, ooh, man, wow. But yes, as far as the title of this episode, it's a joke. Okay, come on. It's a little funny. I even workshopped that one. Okay. I ran it by Mrs. Nerdrotic, a couple of friends of mine. I'm like, is this low hanging fruit, little on the nose, or is it a little, is it worth a chuckle? I got chuckles from everybody. So what the hell? I thought I'd do it. And I talked about it last night on the secret stream. I'm sure it'll piss some people off, but it's not supposed to. It's just supposed to be a ha. It's kind of funny. And the Doctor does have roots, but as my wife put it, everybody has roots in the UK. So it's kind of a thing over there. That's why they fly her out every so often. She is also an expert at the balayage. And no, it's not a sexual maneuver. It's actually a way you bleach hair. How's it going, everybody in the chat? And also, we can continue the conversation we had for Doctor Who yesterday, because it went on. We did a visceral recap. I came on about 15-20 minutes after it aired, and it was a really interesting chat. I thought it was good. It was everybody's just raw, visceral reviews, kind of their thoughts on it, my thoughts on it. Didn't have a lot of time to think about it and rethink it and like hear what other people have to say. It was just us in the chat hanging out and talking about Doctor Who. And I thought it was interesting. So we can carry on that conversation. I had to just cut it off. We could have gone on for 2 more hours easily after that, but I like to keep the reviews. Actually, we went 18 minutes over what I like to do, but it seems to be doing okay. Now, when I do a live stream of a specific show, that's essentially just me doing a video. All right. And inviting you guys along. That's how I look at it. The Nooner is an open live stream where we really interact with everybody from the start to the finish. Time is fucking crazy, Albert Einstein. I don't know if he said that, but that's funny. What's up, MK Ultra, Mary Ashmead, D Newton, Renee Monsoya, Ian Bachelor, Silver Spike, Tomcat. Who else is here? Tommelfinger, David Hill. Good eye. Ed Brewer. We got a super chat already. We got a super chat from the Ben Talks. I had a $50 bet with John Reed that you would watch Doctor Who this season right after you swore it off completely last year. Pay up, John. Hey, he's got the money. He's got the money. He better pay up. The Ben Talks is John watching? He better be watching us. Little twerp. It's not like he can do that D&D stuff all day. Oh, I wish he was up. If he was up right now, I'd get his ass on the show, but I know his ass is sleeping. He is a bit of a night owl. He stays up till like I think he wakes up at 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, funny thing. It's a happy Columbus Day. Or whatever we're calling it now. Happy like the 18th guy that year to find America. Merca. Yeah, so Mrs. Nerdrotic and Nerdrotic Jr. are going to see Venom together. I think that's adorable. I really do. And oh yeah, Ian Batchelor says good evening. Yeah, it is what, 8 over there? No, it's 9 hours difference. So what, 6 or 7, something like that. I don't know. I can't count. I'm from America. Klingons plus hair and a great D7 equals right direction. Well, the Bentox, we'll see. I would say the right direction for Star Trek Discovery is to get your ass firmly into the Kelvin universe and stay there, and then we can talk. We can talk about it being like an alternate reality Trek to the Prime canon, kind of like an ultimate Trek universe, which is that's how it was sold when the 2009 Trek came out. I remember even one of the writers talking about like it's kind of like the ultimate universe in Marvel, which I never had a problem with. Have fun with that shit all day. Good viewership figures for the Doctor in the UK, 8.2 million, highest in 5 years. Yes. But I mean, David, are you surprised? It's the curiosity factor. It took a year off and they finally did something different. Yeah, those Capaldi viewing numbers were down in the 5. There were like, there's 5 million watching. It was down to 4 and 5 million people watching. Just a reminder, the height of the Tenet era, it was 10 million, but 8.2 million plus all the streaming and everything like that. It's probably way more than that. What we got to talk about, because like that, that's not a surprise at all. Talk to me by the end of the year. We'll see if people stick with it. We will see if people stick with it. Usually it's quite a drop off afterwards. It's like a number 1 issue in comic books. It's usually, I would say people will stick it with it for 5 episodes and we'll go from there. That's what we usually do. Hi, Gary. Have you read the Polygon article about how essentially the TARDIS might be racist since police and Black Lives Matter? Is this the reason there was no TARDIS yesterday? Oh, God. If that was the reason there was no TARDIS, Chris Persia, I almost want to take back everything I said about the show yesterday. I really do. Are we still, I mean, I don't pay attention to the news. Are we still doing that? Are we really still doing that? Boy. I watched Venom this afternoon, thought it was a fun movie. Yeah, it's a fun movie. It's not going to change any lives. It's not going to be remembered in 5 or 10 years, but it's a fun movie. Chris Persia says, happy Canadian Thanksgiving Day to one and all. Do you guys, what do you guys do for Thanksgiving? Same as we do? Do you watch like Canadian football and have Canadian turkey? I wish my kid was out of school. Did he have to go to school today, Mary? Yeah, no school for my kid today. Basically, the TARDIS represents 60s bobbies, and police boxes weren't used for enhanced interrogation or anything like that. It wasn't used for rendition. Well, we don't do enhanced interrogation from the police in these parts. I don't know what people are saying, but that doesn't really go. I have a lot of experience with the police. Not recently, but back in the days where it would have been worse. And yeah, I never experienced any enhanced interrogation. Capaldi was good. He was so good, Silver Spike. It was Moffat, and that's what I said on the recap yesterday. Was I think it's more of a Ritz cracker. Starving man in the desert gets a Ritz cracker. Is we got a linear, like just pretty good episode of Doctor Who, and compared to Moffat's mystery box and whatever he was, I don't know what he was trying to accomplish that last season, other than getting the fuck out the door. Well, they called it, what did they call it? They called it the Sonic Swiss Army knife. I hope they don't stick with that. It's just the Sonic screwdriver. It's cool with that. The problem is I love the actors on Doctor Who far more than the writing, says Grady Broyles. And that might continue. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know. I'm sure some other news dropped today. I haven't even checked. Let's go check real quick while you guys talk amongst yourselves. I hope you're having a great Monday. I am so far. I just I've actually haven't been up a whole long. I was up super late last night, so I slept in to like 7:30. So I've been only up for like an hour and a half. I got a busy day ahead, but we can stream freely for as long as we like. Okay. Yeah, hipster Spock, man. And I'm seriously, okay, the beard is fine. I was the Vulcan to me, I know they gave Cybok a beard in Star Trek 5. And Spock, of course, had the facial hair in the mirror universe. So yeah, that's fine. That haircut, man. What's up with that haircut? I mean, is that haircut like still? Again, I'm a little old, so I am unaware, but I've got kids and I go to school and I don't see that haircut anywhere at a junior. Now it's a junior high. Okay. But, and my 20-something-year-old son, Nerdrotic #1, doesn't hang out with anybody with that haircut. So maybe, I don't know. That haircut looks kind of, 2012 or something like that. Oh, let's see if I can find a picture of it because, man. Bearded Spock, is that a good way to search it? There's no like wide shot. You guys can kind of get an idea by looking at this. And yeah, the beard doesn't bother me. He doesn't look like Spock at all. I mean, at all. And let's break this down. Okay. Look at that little pointy chin. All right. And we're going to look at Leonard Nimoy now. We're going to look at, that's it. Not his pointy chin. Now look at Leonard Nimoy's got like pretty thin lips right there. Smoochy woochy lips. A longer face. I mean, like that, they didn't even try. I mean, at least, Zachary, what's his name? Oh, what's that? I don't know. I just wanted to click that. Yeah. I don't see any resemblance whatsoever. I would never go, man, you look so much like Leonard Nimoy. Yeah. Okay. But that hair, man. So is that hair supposed to be like he's been gone for a while and let it grow? It grew out a little bit, or I don't get it. I don't understand Star Trek Discovery. I don't understand what they're trying to accomplish, other than creating more controversy. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they like this stuff. What do you guys think? Because that's just a weird decision. I missed another super chat here. There's a way to fix that. I'm going to fix that permanently. Here we go. I am so sorry. Thanks for bringing that up. I was looking at the pictures. I got my caffeine is still kicking in a little bit, so I do apologize. I do. All right, here we go. Super chats. Mr. Roboto, good to see you. How's it going? Thank you for the $2. Howdy. Do you wish Venom was placed in San Fran, or do I? It is. It is placed in San Fran. I recognize a lot of the streets, and they actually do one chase scene. Dennis and I talked about it Friday. They do one chase scene that actually takes the correct route through the city somewhat. You're on Grant, and then you go up the hill because there's tons of one-way streets. So they were jumping over. Is it California? I think it's California Street where they jump over that one thing because there's where a street ends and it ends up being just a walkway, and they actually jumped over that because I saw we have video somewhere of the guy practicing because that's right up the street from Melissa's salon. Thank you for the super chat, Mr. Roboto. But I like superheroes being in San Francisco. I just don't know. I mean, what they really need to dive into is superheroes would not be liked here at all. They would be looked at as like fascist vigilantes or some shit like that, and absolutely be hated. Unless they were like a Robin Hood superhero or something like that. Yeah, so maybe an anti-hero would probably be welcome here. I don't think Venom would be, though. It would be a toxic superheroism or something, you know. Spock looks like he dropped out of Cybok's cult. He dropped out. I'm done with you, Uncle Cybok. Or no, it's his bro. That's right. Sorry, it looks like Spock's kid. I'm done with you, Cybok. Oh, good old Cybok. It does go to show you they did pull some crazy shit even back in the day. I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I saw Star Trek V in the theater. Okay. And I thought like it had a really good beginning. It did. It had like this great start that really drew you in. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good. Then it just goes like Uhura starts singing in the desert, and then there's campfire songs, and then there's why does God need a spaceship? I still kind of like it. Iron Man was we've had all kinds. We've had Eternals here. We've had Iron Man here. We've had Buffy was here for a little while. The X-Men were here. Oh yeah, we've had our share of soups hanging out. It's because we have buildings. We're I don't know, Seattle kind of has buildings, but here in California, there's LA, but it's not like a super tight downtown. There's like some massive buildings in LA, but there's a few of them. We have like a real metropolitan, kind of like it's a miniaturized New York on a little piece of land that could sink into the ocean at any time. So Spider-Man could actually do some swinging. Spider-Man would be pretty useless in a place like San Diego or something like that, where there's like he'd have nowhere to swing from. Maybe the occasional palm tree. The Hulk movie was in San Francisco. That's right. Ant-Man was in San Francisco. The Terminator Genesis was in San Francisco. Yeah, a lot of shit's been in San Francisco. Yeah, it was. But they all go to the same parts. Y'all notice that they all like are downtown. I mean, you don't see any like Ant-Man running down the Mission. You don't see Ant-Man in Hunter's Point. Now Bullet, there's a movie that kind of went everywhere, but Matt Mikey Spot will teach him how to shave, amongst other things. That was the other title I was throwing around because remember there's the in Star Trek Discovery. I guess they tried to do a throwback to the original titles. Remember the Star Trek Discovery season 1 titles? Oh, they were good. Let's go back and read some of those because just in case you forgot, because fuck. And I only think of that because I actually use the titles when I do the recaps and stuff. I'm like, what the magic to make the sanest man go mad? And I was gonna like say something like razor to make the hairiest face turn shorn or something like, or be shorn. Star Trek Discovery titles. But yes, I know what they were going for with this. They were going for a retro feel with that. But it wasn't very, very retro. Where did it go? Here we go. So some were fine. We had the Vulcan Hello, Battle at Binary Stars. That's fine. Those are pretty good actual titles. Context is for Kings. The Butcher's Knife cares not for the lamb's cry. Magic to make the sanest man go mad. And the war without, the war within. Will you take my hand? Which, I hated that episode so much. Yeah, but yeah, the worst one was the Butcher's Knife cares not for the lamb's cry. It's like, oh, please. That one was written by Jesse Alexander. Oh, hey, Jesse Alexander. You know who Jesse Alexander was? He's the guy who got fired from American Gods season 2. Wow. Maybe I blocked that part out of my brain that somebody with Star Trek Discovery was involved with American Gods, and the influence of J.J. Abrams is fucking everywhere. I do not get it. He must be stopped. He really does. Can we give him a nice retirement package and send him packing? Because honestly, I'd take Michael Bay back, Yui Bold. I would take so many people back over JJ at this point. I mean, at least Michael Bay tried. Okay, at least he tried. Look at that. I'm sorry. It's Akiva Goldsman. He's still there. Jesse Alexander is gone. Kristen Beyer. Yeah, who are these writers? Wow, Kemp Powers. I don't know. Horribleness, I tell you. Yeah, Silver Spike. I thought it was directed by Shatner. Was Star Trek V written by Shatner as well? I do not know that. Yeah, Star Trek V was weird. It was definitely weird. But I was kind of going through a weird time in my life, so I'm like, I totally understand it. I was super bummed out when it was just like an entity. I was kind of hoping they would actually find God. I'm like, that would be a good way to. And I don't know if you us older folks remember what was the big rumor? What made everybody go see this movie? Kirk was going to die. Everybody thought Kirk was going to die in this one. There was news articles, in the actual newspaper, that thing that used to be the internet. Yeah, there was a lot of talk of Kirk dying. It was just to get people into the seats. They had no intention whatsoever to do that. But we did get Star Trek 6 out of that, and I fucking love Star Trek 6. It's a wonderful movie. Shatner fights himself. Must have been your greatest ambition. San Fran is an alternate to LA in every way, shape, or form, Mr. Roboto. People in San Francisco hate Los Angeles. They hate SoCal. They hate Los Angeles. They really have nothing against San Diego. I don't know why. And people in Los Angeles don't care. The hate is it's not reciprocal. They just don't give a shit. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. The Dodgers Giants thing is real. I don't care about that. Santo Dominus says Star Trek V has some really great quotable moments. It truly does. It truly does. So how many of y'all saw Doctor Who yesterday? Did you? I went over last night's yesterday morning's recap, and it seems to be a mostly positive response. That's what I'm getting out of it now. But I mean, I had my expectation. I thought it was going to be a complete shit show. So, and I think that's what a lot of people thought. So, it's in a lot of ways it parallels with Venom, to where, oh well, we ended up thinking it was going to be a total piece of crap, but it ended up being pretty good. I'm sure upon further review it can be ripped apart for some reason, but anything can really. But I'm gonna, am I like back on board as a hardcore fan? No. I could probably remain a casual fan. I will remain a hardcore fan of the older stuff. Absolutely. I'll still buy, action figures if they're cool looking. I think I have enough. Do you say TARDISes, or how do you say that properly in the UK? What's a plural TARDIS? Is it just TARDIS? TARDI? I have no fucking idea. I have lots of TARDIS. You know what? I really liked the 10th Doctor bridge they made. It was pretty solid. I want a kind of a bigger one. I hope they make one someday. I know they repackaged it and it's a little cheaper. It used to be like really hard to find. It was like $300, but now I think they repackaged it and you can get it for $100, which is still pricey, but it makes every sound. It lights up the thing. That fucking moves. It's great. It's so great. I watched Doctor Who after your broadcast and enjoyed it. I hope she can make the role her own. I think she can. I think she can. I never had anything against her. I still thoroughly dislike the decision, but there's a point where you just gotta move on, you know. And it doesn't really. At least it did this, and this is why I said it was better in Star Trek Discovery. Aside from the obvious, okay, the actual lore of Doctor Who, it's not stepping on any more than fucking Moffat did. Moffat fucked with that so much. And there's a lot of great videos out there. I'm still looking for one that's like a good proper list of like all the shit Moffat changed, because and just in one-off lines. And I don't think, I mean, for being a Doctor Who fan, I don't think he understood the gravity of like just, making a one-off line saying this Time Lord did this and fucking fucks with everything. And Star Trek Discovery is doing that in a lot. But we're like one episode in. Of course, it was going to get tons of views. There's a curiosity factor, but I mean, guys and gals, let's be real here. We are dealing with the general public and normies who have the attention span of a gnat on crack. So we'll see in 5 episodes. The thing is, it has to be extraordinary for people to get caught on. People, I think the general sentiment I'm getting is, yeah, it's pretty good. It was okay. That's not something that's going to get your franchise going for 5 more years. Now, if they take this and build on it, sure, absolutely. But yes, am I looking forward to good Omens? Yes, very much so. Very much so. Okay, I'm gonna try to say your name at Dark Ashtar. Very much. I was very excited to see the trailer. It looks really good. I do like that book quite a bit, and yeah, I hope they do it. I think they'll do it justice. Neil Gaiman is there, but Terry Pratchett isn't. May he rest in peace. Funny guy, good guy, friend of Douglas Adams. So yes, anybody who's a friend of Douglas Adams is a friend of mine. Yeah, Tardises. Adam West has not seen New Who. Well, you're too busy shooting Batman, Adam West. It's okay. You're a busy guy. By the way, watched it when I came home this morning. No cable in cabin country. Are you like in the woods, Chris Persia? Have you seen Sasquatch? Have you been Sasquatching? I may or may not have gone Sasquatching in my life. That is not something I care to completely admit to yet. There's a couple things I've yet to completely freely admit to. Mrs. Nerdrotic's at the door. Come in. I guess not. Okay. There's all kinds of chaos going over there. Gary, the doctor called her sonic screwdriver a sonic Swiss Army knife. Then she said that anyone that has a knife is an idiot. Give me a break. She hates knives now? Brad, right. I mean, like, how am I going to cut steak? I think she said, yeah, anybody who carries knives is an idiot. Speaking towards all the stabbings, I guess, we have in Europe and the UK due to the lack of guns, because humans will find something to hurt each other with no matter what. Yes, that was one of the preachy moments, Brad. And I clarify with this. I was expecting a full hour of being talked down to and being preached at, because I didn't get that, I was like, oh, okay, it wasn't so bad. Now, the question is it we're with Doctor Who, I'm so expectant of being preached at that when I don't get preached at, I'm like, oh wow, that was almost a good episode of Doctor Who. How am I supposed to feel about that? It's time that we'll test that. After we get through a few more episodes, we'll see. Because they could have just dialed it back for the first episode. So we don't know. We got to see how it plays out. It's good that there's good viewing numbers and stuff, but The Gifted episode 1 had a lot of people watching it too. Not as many as Doctor Who, but a lot. And then the audience dipped by 3/4 by the next week. Now, one show is clearly, I don't know. They both kind of meh to me, but neither of them are The Expanse or Legion or Counterpart or just name the show Venture Brothers. Happy. Did anybody see the Happy season 2 trailer? Holy shit. That looks good. Now you got to be, Happy's not for everybody. I wouldn't say that there would be a huge crossover from Doctor Who fans to Happy. That's just me. But, if you like really sick and twisted shit and dark ass comedy that goes into very, very dark places, and you can laugh about that stuff and it doesn't bother you, then fucking watch Happy because it's funny. I guess the only place to watch it right now is on Amazon Prime, and you have to rent it. There's no Blu-rays, and I don't think is it streaming on Sci-Fi? I don't think so. Yeah, the access to it kind of sucks, to be honest with you. It's hard to push that show when you can't find it anywhere. I like Doctor Who. I'm glad they didn't spend a lot of time on her gender and went straight into the story. Yep. There were some meta moments though, Philip, where they're like, we need to evolve past it. It's like, you know what? Don't stop. You were doing good. Shut up. And what it's not what she said that pisses people off. It's the sanctimonious bullshit that anybody who, I mean, like, I don't care if they're saying shit I agree with. Anybody who walks up and tells somebody else that they need to evolve because I'm obviously more evolved than you are, then you're just a dipshit. That old saying, the guy who thinks he's the smartest man in the room is usually the dumbest. Stuff like that. I need a bigger TARDIS and Tennant's screwdriver. That's what Mary needs. Me thinks it's TARDISes. If you're referring to the plural individuals, TARDI, you'll be referring to the context of their group, says Grady Burrells. Well, I'm in America. I don't know English. I don't know. I've never heard it spoken in the show in a plural form, but they had an opportunity in the 50th anniversary special, but they didn't. The new Sonic looks like a cross between an X-Acto knife and a Zach gun from Stargate 1. It does, Matthew Madsen. It really does. It also, well, I mean, the Sonic screwdriver has always looked like a vibrator. Always. I mean, how many times did they refer to her gender in the show? Once, then they moved on, said Silver Spike. And they referred to it twice. I remember in the beginning in the train and at the end when she's talking about wearing girls' clothes. No, 3 times. It's more than once. It's definitely more than once. That's just off the top of my head when she's putting her clothes on and in the train when the officer calls her a female and she goes, "What? I'm a what?" The most annoying part was I got to start wearing girls' clothes again. That one annoyed the fuck out of me. but it could have been worse. It could have been so much worse. And you know what? What really helped Doctor Who, and I'm not kidding about this. This is just with me personally. Was all the Star Trek Discovery shit that dropped. I was way more pissed about that. And like, can I like I get upset. It's funny, but it's more funny. I don't get like, oh my god, and start throwing things and kick my dog and yell at my wife and no, no. I actually just, you know what? You know what's very helpful is talking to you guys. It's very therapeutic. I got a peaceful, easy feeling throughout my day, especially after a good, after a good nooner. After a good nooner, I'm feeling great. Aren't you guys? Castlevania season 2 is coming up, says Dark Ashtar. Man, there is a lot of people talking about that. I got to check it out. I recorded a video for Star Wars Resistance. I don't know if I'm going to put it out. We don't really, because I got finished with it and it's actually pretty good. I think I'll put it on Patreon, but I did promise our fine subscribers that we wouldn't talk about Star Wars anymore because we're not a Star Wars channel anyway. It's pretty obvious. It's really boring. It's really, and those, I mean, like I'll just tell you guys now, what it really cements, what it really put is the new characters. Nobody cares about them. And nobody cares about him. Poe Dameron is arguably the best character of all the new ones to me. He's somewhat, I mean, he's not fleshed out. He's like 1.5 dimensional, but he's likable. He's a likable character. He's not obnoxious. He's always kind of a positive guy, but he's like just paper thin, and that's what the cartoon is, and it doesn't help at all. And then, then there's the First Order, which, like, who's afraid of the First Order? They got this bumbling general and a whiny ass, fucking Black Parade Darth Vader. And yeah, it's like there's no stakes. So it's just Star Wars with more color. And yeah, it's just things happen, events happen, like really bland events happen, like, oh, you are a pilot. We need you to be a recruit in the Resistance. There's a really interesting, if Star Wars would have made the First Order actually scary and evil, and then the Republic denying they exist, and then you find out there's some kind of weird conspiracy to bring them back, and that's what the Resistance exists for, that would be kind of interesting, but we're way past that. We're way past that. Yeah, it was, and the animation is whatever. Excuse me. I mean, I am not an animator. I just didn't like it very much. It did remind me of Iron Man or Armored Adventures. And I actually liked that cartoon though. I did. I thought it was pretty good. Happy was on the Lift channel. You mean sci-fi? The Lift channel. I don't know. Hulu is the Lift channel too, right? Are you talking? Oh, Happy's on Hulu, and you're calling it the Lift channel, Mr. Roboto, because they're sponsored by Lyft, because there's so many fucking. So you watch Mr. Roboto? Did you watch Runaways, where the superheroes were taking lifts everywhere? Yeah. Well, I know TARDIS is actually an acronym, Mega Grey Wolf. Yes, we do. But I think it's an acronym that's turned into a name. Or there'd be the little, there'd be periods in between the TARIDAS. So, yeah. I have no idea. How about we just say multiple TARDIS, or a group of TARDIS, or a flock of TARDIS? There you go. There's the name of my new band, a flock of TARDIS. And we all dress like a doctor. And we cover, what are we going to cover? What are we going to cover? What is Doctor Who cover? Well, obviously we got to cover the Eagle song, because it's the theme for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Then we play the theme, but we would be a cover band of I'd have to think about that. A flock of TARDIS. Blame the cross-dressing Russian bots. I blame everything on Truth Apocalypse. I blame everything on the Russian bots. When I put basically that's my tax return says Russian bots on it. We'll see how that works out. By the way, I'll let y'all know. Sebastian Simonson. I think I don't know if he's really getting in touch with how he really feels about Star Wars Resistance. He says Star Wars Resistance is bullshit. No, Silver Spike. Doctor Who's canon has never been consistent. So that's fine. The thing is they fundamentally changed the show. So the argument is you had a show that played to a certain audience and you were able to do a lot of merchandising and stuff. And you still probably can do some clever merchandising with the show, and it'll still we'll see what happens. But it's also in its 11th season. This did inject it with a little breath of life, but 8.2 million still that's okay. So that's its best rating in 5 years. What was 5 years ago? The 50th anniversary special. And in the last 5 years, we've only gotten 3 seasons. So there's 2 years where there were no ratings. So there's that. And there's a curiosity factor. But I'll take you back to last Christmas where the ratings were not that great, where they had a regeneration. So, and maybe because that's so many people dipped out on Capaldi. But the fact of the matter is, the people who dipped out on Capaldi are not coming back. And even Dennis sat down and watched the episode, but Dennis is not going to watch the second episode. I think a ton of people watched it to see what's what. Did they get some fans? Absolutely. I'm of the belief anytime somebody finally takes the time who's resisted Doctor Who and you sit down and watch Doctor Who, you become a fan, even if you watch like one of the worst episodes. But we'll see as time plays out. It's still a fundamentally different show. And the fact of the matter is, Silver Spike, like it or not, if people like, and it, believe me, it's more of the or not. The male 18 to 34 is still what drives genre. Will always drive genre. And sorry, we're really deep into trying to mix it up. Do you know we're coming up on Twilight's 10th anniversary? Because I was watching Venom and a Fathom Events came along to remind us of this dark, dark day that's coming up. And oh, am I doing a podcast on that day? Now, Twilight on its own is fine, is great. Twilight was genius because it tapped into something that Hollywood had never really given two shits about. All right. And you believe me, they should have, because it was Titanic who did it before Twilight. Titanic did something way before Twilight that took Twilight to do was tap into the female, like 15 to 35 demographic, as far as like actually putting attention to them and not making it like after school special. And Titanic drew on that, and that's why Titanic made a gazillion dollars. Now, fast forward to Twilight. There's a saying at Comic-Con that Twilight ruined everything. Kind of did. There's a lot of layers to that. It would actually take me some research to go into that and tell you, because I was there and I saw the change happen overnight. It was because of Twilight. Con started selling out. We started getting a cap. Lines for Hall H were going nuts. It was because of Twilight. Now, it was happening naturally before that, but Twilight cranked it up. So Twilight slowly changed everything over the last 10 years, and they started infusing. It just didn't become the boys club anymore. It wasn't always 100% the boys club. I know, because I was there. Okay. There's always been girl nerds. Always. There's always been girl nerds who love superheroes, but it's just the number's small. The number is small. There's girls. I actually, Star Trek, well, just in my circle of friends, was the most female accessible show. That was basically Star Trek and Buffy were the two shows that I observed had the most women into them, and that's over my years at the comic shop and just being a nerd. And there's others like Farscape. By the way, real quick, I watched 8 episodes of Farscape yesterday. Such a great show. Such a great show. So and that started happening, and it started bringing stuff in, and it's fine. And like I said before, it's like a marriage. It's like the bachelor, and the partner's going to move in, and you can't have your TV on the milk crate anymore. You can't have a mattress on your comic book long boxes. Guilty. I had a bunch of comic book long boxes and a mattress on top of it. That was for the very brief time I lived alone. And man, that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. I was also like fucking dead broke and in my 20s. Yeah, and so now you got to like clean up the house a little bit and bring everybody in. You got to compromise. But what's been happening lately is the partner moves in and says, okay, you can have that corner in the garage, and I'm painting the walls pink, and we're gonna have house plants everywhere. We're gonna have I'm bringing my 15 cats in, and yeah, you're lucky you could sleep in my bed. That's a lot of what's been happening. Gary, are we still on for Farscape today? Yes, we are. I am on track. I thank you for the $2 super chat. Sculpted leather art by Viking Bitch. I watched 8 episodes yesterday, and that's why there was a couple reasons I blew off Man in the High Castle, but that was one of them. I was like deep into my Farscape binge. I'm like, I'm having too much fun watching Farscape. But yeah, that's how Twilight changed everything. I don't know if ruined everything is a correct term. It just it changed everything. Now, most of it's been good. Most of the change in the last 10 years has been good. The most of the stuff we've gotten from Marvel, if you look at genre as a whole, it's been pretty fucking good 10 years. Okay, we've gotten some stinkers, of course, out of stuff we didn't expect to get out of, but maybe those are just old properties now. Maybe they're just done. Maybe they're played out. We got to be real about Star Trek, guys. Like, it hasn't been good for a long time. I will ask even the most hard. I will ask Trek Yards, Anti-Trekker. What was the last good Star Trek? Was it Enterprise? Was it like season 3 of Enterprise? Maybe. Okay, that was a decade, right? So, and for me anyway, the last good Star Wars goes well. Okay, I'll give Rogue One a pass. Like, that's a decent movie, but before that, 1983. But that's just my opinion. But there's also a lot of good stuff that comes out. So, like Good Omens and American Gods season 2, maybe. The Boys is coming out. That looks amazing. Star Wars Resistance can burn in the fires of hell. Am I watching A Nation? No. Should I? What is it? Time and relative dimension in space. First uttered by who? Who's the first person who said that? Okay, so evolving to keep things fresh is a very openly fucking relative term. I mean, like, that's I mean, that's like saying we need to grow to become better people. Yeah, okay. Yes. It all depends on the word evolve sounds sanctimonious and pretentious as fuck. How about just going, hey, we're just trying to keep things fresh? Don't need to use the word evolve. We need to evolve past your dumb little thinking little person. Yeah, I you know what? I don't think I'm that smart. I would not talk to people like that. How's that sound? And I would expect people to show me the same respect. And because I would ask for the qualifier. I'm like, how are you so evolved? Please tell me. Please explain to me how you are so evolved. I've got time. I'm listening. I'm listening to how you are so evolved. Yeah. I watched the was it Black Man Beyond 140 interview with Mark Bernardin yesterday. The whole show was about Castle Rock. He mentioned J.J. Abrams, and they talked about um, making him rent. What? Really? I'll have to watch that then. Making him Randall Flagg. So, Philip, what did they? I've seen nothing on, read nothing on Castle Rock. Is it supposed to be like an anthology series that has an underlying theme? Because that would make sense. That would make the show make sense. Because, quite honestly, while I was somewhat entertained by that show, that ending didn't make a whole lot of sense. They basically just ripped the Howling Man a little bit. But if they're turning that into Randall Flagg, then that is interesting. You got me on that one. I don't know. It's I guess it's 50-50 with people out there. There's some people who, I love the story. I love the really long I like the TV series that basically stays on one story. I don't like the one-off episodes anymore. Those kind of bore me. And that's partially why I started dipping out of Doctor Who. Is Doctor Who just didn't want to commit to that, and it really needed to. One-off episodes of Doctor Who, people are way past that, and the ratings prove that. The thing is, I don't think Stephen Moffat was very good at about telling that story. Yeah, especially so in Doctor, yeah, the whole the evolved thing. I wish she would have said it differently. That's all. I mean, I got what she was trying to say, but what they were trying to do was a meta moment to tell the fans who were upset to evolve past your petty little thoughts. Don't think you get my head, and yeah. And also like blanketly generalizing people on what their thoughts are on a television show. That's really kind of silly. Um, I know it might take some time, but try to like look at somebody's individual actions in life on how they do things. Um, I'm not big on qualifiers, but I could give you a long fucking list if people need to hear them. But no thanks. Sebastian Simonson says I stopped watching Doctor Who after David Tennant, as many did. The David Tennant ratings were generally in 9-10 million range, but that was prior to streaming. Okay, so 8.2 plus the streaming numbers is phenomenal. Not going to deny that. That's fucking huge. That's huge. That's close to Tennant numbers. We'll see what the second episode brings. Now, if it does and people are good, and then we're off to the races. My guess is it'll probably do better in the UK than it does here. Who was not my thing, but if you like that, if you like that kind of thing, go have fun. Yeah, exactly. Um, you know, I'm glad how things turned out yesterday. It turned out to be a fun, civil conversation and stuff. Sure, there were a couple things in there that were bad, but actually the chat was great. You guys were fucking awesome. You guys were awesome. I had so much fun. I can't believe that hour and 18 minutes just went like fast. I couldn't believe I went that long. I was like, ooh, I was going to try to keep it at 45 minutes. Good luck with that. Just like I was trying to keep last night in an hour. Sarcasm doesn't work well in chat. It doesn't. And guys out there, please help me with this. This is me genuinely asking. We need to work on the universal emoji for sarcasm. I know there's one that's out there, but we need to like really, I think the entire internet needs to come together and have our first annual internet conference where everybody gets on and goes, can we decide what the emoji is for sarcasm? Because we need to work this thing out, because it's caused a lot of arguments. And it really needs to go over to text, especially with husbands and wives, when I'm like, popping off a text, and my wife goes, "What the fuck about sarcasm?" Or we just don't use it, which I don't know. Sarcasm is like meant to be used, but maybe that's why people are coming to YouTube. I swear to God, half the Twitter bullshit could be solved with a universal symbol of sarcasm. Every new Doctor is a new Doctor Who show. What makes the show good is following canon and not creating or changing it for the sake of clicks. And there is a generalized canon in Doctor Who, but Moffat has fucked with that completely, especially getting rid of the Time War, which I thought was just I never wanted to see the Time War solved until like the show ended. Like that would be that one you save because it was so good and it solves the problem of honestly going to Gallifrey all the time and having other Time Lords. It worked in the 70s. It kind of kept them in check and stuff, but that was played out. I love the Wanderer. And I know it's like a popular trope right now, but the whole fucking PTSD doctor, that's what the Ninth Doctor was with PTSD doctor. But Chris Eccleston played that to perfection. And then David Tennant did it well as too. And then, Matt Smith actually did a decent job of it too in the first couple seasons. The Time War was what really hooked me into the new series. I was like, oh, that is just the best idea ever. And yeah, but Titanic was depressing. Well, so was fucking Twilight, Mr. Roboto. All right, I have seen all the Twilight movies. After many years of counseling, I'm okay. I had to watch like Salem's Lot. I watched some good vampire stuff, Nosferatu, to kind of cleanse the palate. Blade, yes, Blade and Buffy. Twilight needs Blade and Buffy to make an appearance. Yeah, and they end that shit show real quick. Oh God, Twilight, the books, film series, is sparkling vampires. Yeah. Oh, and 14 and 15-year-old girls running around Comic-Con and having a bunch of nerds going, "What the fuck is this?" Running around my Comic-Con. It was kind of funny. That's when people started dying at Comic-Con too, though. We had 2 deaths in a row. One for heat exhaustion, and one somebody was riding a bike and thought they'd just ride their bike across Harbor Boulevard, which is pretty much a freeway. It's a highway. They finally started closing it this year. Girls in the comic store. Girls in the comic store. I know, girls in the comic store. Let me tell you about girls in the comic store. Girls come into comic stores all the time. And I've read a couple articles and a couple of blogs where the girl who walked in felt weird. And I've heard that from women. I'm like, and my answer is the same. They're not paying attention to you. They are looking at the comics. It would have to be like maybe actually Supergirl flying into the comic store to get a nerd's attention away from his comic books. So just back off a little bit on the self-importance there, and just, you know what? They might put their heads up because somebody walked in, but that's it. It's where if feisty fans in here, you run a comic shop, you figure out like who wants to be talked to and who doesn't. And you can see the look in their face like that. Like, that's a person on a mission. They are looking for some back issues. I just say hello to them when they walk in and let them go their merry way. And then there's somebody who kind of walks in, they're looking up at the ceiling and stuff like that. You go, you need some help. What can I help you with? Mr. Roboto, $2. Are you watching Z Nation? I am not. I'm sorry. I am not. Is it good? Dennis has mentioned it. It's 4:00 West Coast time for Farscape. That's I hope that's okay, Viking bitch. Is that not too late? Or is it 4:30? Did I say 4:30? 4:30, something like that. And we will be talking about season 1. My hope is I can watch because I've already watched most of season 1. I've saved the last 4 episodes, so it's like fresh in my head, but I wanted to rewatch. There's a couple of the older ones. Um, like that old Black Magic, the one where yeah, that one's good. Did I get that title right? Oh, that old Black Magic with the sorcerer. Um, and Crichton is fighting is it Gray? What's the guy's name again? Crace? Yeah. And like in their minds, and that was a good episode. I like that episode a lot. And am I wrong in thinking Erin's kind of hot? I don't know why I think she's she's like dominatrix hot. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. I'm a sick man. I really am. What's up, Mecha Random? I'm so tired of these fan shows, fan bashing. Me too. Yeah, Doctor Who was very guilty of it. Well, I don't say the show was the media, Radio Times, stuff like that. They have been guilty of it in the past, but they dialed it back. Star Wars and Star Trek have not dialed it back whatsoever. Yeah, and I'm sick of it. But yes, 4:30 p.m. today. Sculpted leather art by Viking Bitch. Please check out our channel. Please check out Mecha Random's channel. Please check out Midnight's Edge channel. Please check out Overlord DVD's channel. I'm sure he's got some videos coming soon. And the Sailing Coconut. What's up? Got my friend into the Expanse. And you're a good person for doing that. Every time you get somebody into the Expanse, an angel gets his wings. Sailing Coconut. Remember that. That's a true story. That is a true story. Mr. Roboto says, I've heard of Castle Rock. Castle Rock was an interesting show because it had one of the better casts on television. Like really, really solid cast. Pretty decent writing. Bit mystery box with some payoffs. And yeah, I enjoyed it mostly. I would give it a 7 out of 10. The ending was bit ambiguous, but I don't know the format of the show. I know it's supposed to be anthology and a different story every time, but it might be like still connected. So I don't know. If you guys have heard differently, let me know. And that's part of what happened is the novelty wears off, and that happens with a lot of Doctor Who fans. I mean, there's people who just are because Mecha says a lot of novelty of Doctor Who wore off for me after Tennant left. It got dull. I can't listen to the same album for the rest of my life, nor can I watch the same show forever sometimes. Yeah. Well, yeah, you got to break out. I'm very careful with Dark Side of the Moon. I still adore that album, but I can only listen to it like once every few years now. Yeah, you can only rewatch good stuff so much. I don't know though. I personally can for a long time. That's part of the reason I could be a decent editor because when you edit, you watch the same clip over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Also, that's why I was a pretty decent pre-mastering technician because I can watch the end of a movie like Sucker Punch 150 times and not want to kill myself. So it was 152 times to be exact that I watched the last 15 minutes of Sucker Punch because we were having all kinds of problems with the movie. Other than the fact that it just really, really sucked. But oh my God, did that movie suck. But then I got to watch the end of Paranormal Activity a bunch of times and I liked it a lot. So but I don't know where the hell I was going with that. Oh, yeah, rewatchability and stuff. Yeah, it gets tired, but I know people out there who are just like Fourth Doctor and 10th Doctor fans or just Fourth Doctor fans. They will only watch Tom Baker stuff. And that's cool. That's what's different about the show. But you know what? There has to be some new stuff. But the thing is, though, I'm okay with just dipping back to my old Doctor Who and watching some new Expanse or checking. I mean, like honestly, I've been turned on to 5 or 6 new shows this year. So that's great. That's entertainment for the next few years, easily. Like Counterpart, I could be just fine with Counterpart. Um, they bought a bunch of Stephen King licenses. It sounds like they are looking for ways to tie them together. That's what I heard. It's basically the creators of that show get to play in Stephen King's sandbox. They get to kind of use whatever they want, but it's its own universe. And they set the whole season up this year explaining, sorry, spoiler warning, plug your ears if you care about Castle Rock. Setting up the future of the show. The whole first season was basically setting up how you go forward with that show with multiple, basically Castle Rock um, sits at a place that it's like it's a dimensional schism. Basically, you hear this noise, so time and space meet at Castle Rock, and there's some kind of anomaly there, which explains that there's and multiple Castle Rocks, like infinite number of Castle Rocks. So you can tell all kinds of stories and have all kinds of fun, but there might be some connective tissue, like a person or a thing or a noise or something like that, which is kind of interesting, I think. That was kind of a hitchhiker moment at the end of Doctor Who. It was. But that was one of the other thing, Mako, is they were using a lot of other things. They were she was acting like David Tennant, like straight up. And I'm not the only person who said that, by the way. Um, which is funny because from what few insiders I've heard, that is the sentiment that they wanted. They really wanted to go back into the David Tennant direction, which is probably smart because that was the fun direction. But they lots of callbacks and stuff, and it's Chris Chibnall. And Mako, you have seen all of Chris Chibnall's episodes as I have. Uh, if you're going to do a chat on Farscape, I want to make sure I don't miss it. When do you plan on doing that chat? Tomcat, $5. Thank you for the super chat. You could have just asked a question, but I really appreciate the super chat. That's awesome and generous, and it really does help. 4:30 p.m. Pacific time today. We are doing a Farscape season 1 chat, and it is dedicated completely 100% to Farscape. This is requested by patrons, spearheaded by Viking Bitch. So, and it's taken me a long time to get through this. It got complicated. What I did was I did a bunch of reviews of the first 6 episodes, and it started out as like, hey, let's get my visceral reaction. Let's have a guy who's never seen Farscape watch the episode and tell you what I really think. And I could have come on and said it's puppets and it sucks. But Viking Bitch was fucking confident. I admire that confidence. She was like, no, you're going to like it. Trust me. I'm like, I don't know. Puppets. But then, it gets in your head, it gets in my head. It's like, oh, these are Jim Henson puppets. And I like the Dark Crystal and I like Jim Henson. So I don't know why the fuck I didn't watch the show. I have no explanation. Matthew Matson just write out sarcasm. That's way too simple, Matthew. It needs to be some kind of like S with some squigglies or something like that. I guess the emoji for sarcasm is kind of like winking and sticking your tongue out. Would that be it? Whoever creates one, make sure to trademark that bitch, like right away. The symbol of sarcasm is usually writing a slash and an S at the end. Uh, It's not sticking, Mako. It's not sticking. Like eye roll emoji, yeah, something like that, like that, Jody. How about an upside down middle finger? I like that, Speedster. Uh, and Penn Farm Girl says, "I like that, Speedster." That's funny. Uh, and I'm sorry for missing your super chat earlier, Mr. Roboto. Um, yeah, wow. So I've got my little far chip. uh, my what? What the hell am I talking about? I've got my super chat window up. All right. I guess there was some like I'm not a watcher of Walking Dead anymore, but I guess they something big happened last night. Susan wrote about it on 1428 at 1428elm.com. What did it say? Yeah, if you guys could, uh, if you have the time, our wonderful co-host Susan from Friday night writes for 1428elm.com. She essentially runs the place now. It's a really good site. And she's posting articles multiple times a day. Um, I'm looking for I don't see the Walking Dead thing now. Yeah, so it's just about Andrew Lincoln leaving. It's really good. And oh, David Boreanaz thinks a Buffy reboot is fantastic. Shut up, David Boreanaz. It's stupid. I don't like that idea at all. Hellboy is essentially going to be oh, this is a great Susan Layton article right here. Let's read this. Let's look at this. Oh, I don't care about that. Hellboy is essentially a horror, according to David Harbour. Hellboy is definitely a monster movie, according to David Harbour, the man who brings the fan favorite to life at New York Comic Con. The actor talks about his performance for practical effects and how Hellboy is essentially a horror movie. Hellboy was a beloved Dark Horse comic created by Mike Mignola. The Half Demon is a large part of the Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense. After succeeding his first mission back in 1952, he became known as the world's greatest paranormal investigator, which seems like a no-brainer considering his heritage. Yesterday at New York Comic Con, star David Harbour talked glowingly about his performance or preference, sorry, about his performance. I'm all egomaniac. Oh, there you go. His preference for practical effects over CGI. Little applause for that one. He also confirmed that it is a monster movie. So fans of the original film series directed by Guillermo del Toro, don't fear. Not only will this version of Hellboy be scary, but it will also retain the dark comedy that Ron Perlman's character was known for. And it is a tall task to do better than those movies because I fucking love those movies. I love the first one. According to Deadline, Harbour likens the treatment of the more terrifying aspects of the picture to essentially horror. The New York Comic Con audience was also lucky to see the first footage from Hellboy. Awesome. There will be fights, blood, and the trademark sardonic humor. Harbour also went on to say that while there are CGI elements to the film, it is their strong preference is practical effects is pretty clear. There are also a lot of there is also a lot of practical stuff like crazy practical makeup, and there are so many monsters, not just Hellboy, like two practical monsters having full scene and each with each other, and you feel the weight of that, which this is awesome. I love hearing this. Of course, the reveal had members of the audience clamoring to find out what else from the comic book might be sharing screen time with our honored hero. While Harbour stayed mum while recounting the reasons why Lionsgate wouldn't allow him to reveal any information, he made claw-like gestures, obviously. It was also a nod to one of the more famous villains in the series, Lobster Johnson. Lobster Johnson. Lobster Johnson. Are we getting Abe Sapien in it though? I didn't see Abe Sapien in that one banner. And is it almost better to leave Abe Sapien out? I mean, because you can. It's not like Abe's there all the time, you know. Bringing Lobster Johnson in is a fine move. You got to do that. We'll see. We'll see, guys. I'm a giant Hellboy fan, so well done, Susan, as usual. So proud to have her on board. She fucking rocks, guys. Yeah, I can't wait for Hellboy. We were actually supposed to get it in January, but now we're getting it in April. Timothy Dalton as the spitting Rassilon was fantastic. Yes, he was. Uh, just going down the chat here. Fright Night. Fright Night. God, the original Fright Night, Mike. Oh man, I had such good times. I watched that in the theater. I think it was Melissa. And funny thing about me and Melissa is we dated a lot. We hung out all the fucking time. I would because I was a druggy loser and didn't really work back then. She worked at some art fucking import place. I would just go and hang out with her at work all day. But we only were like boyfriend and girlfriend for a little while. I was like a terrible boyfriend. So she kept on breaking up with me. But we keep hanging out. So I think I went and we went to see so many movies together. So I was like, that's why Fright Night. I'm like, I saw Fright Night with Melissa back in the day. Yeah, she couldn't get rid of me. I was a stage 5 clinger. Love Hellboy. And have you seen the poster of Hellboy? Yes, that fucking poster is amazing. Amazing. I'll show it to you guys again. It's so fucking good. I'm sure everybody's seen it, but what the hell? Give us something to do, right? I mean, yeah, this movie's gonna do good. I think so. It's just somebody taking a picture of their screen, but I don't care. You get the full shot of it right there. Yeah, that doesn't suck at all. Way down with that. Who skipped Eccleston's run? Oh my god, I fucking Eccleston's run was I think it's. I mean, okay. I will say this: in New Who, the best acting job was done by Eccleston. Eccleston did the best pure acting job for his role. Within his role, doing what he needed to do, playing the like traumatized post-war doctor. As much as I love the 50th anniversary, one of the biggest bummers of all time is him saying no to that. And I know we got John Hurt and everything in the War Doctor, and it was like a fine replacement. But if Nine was in there instead, oh, the impact of that shit. But if it's Clara still, if they brought Nine in and it's Clara who makes the decision, that probably makes it worse, to be honest with you. Rebooting Buffy is pointless as reboots itself. I only want them to reboot Buffy so I can just plaster that argument into all the faces who got all on my shit about Doctor Who. Yes, I'm that petty. But I feel the same way as they do. I do. I mean, like I feel the same way. I fucking adore Buffy. Buffy's one of my all-time favorite shows. It's super dated. It's kind of you can rewatch it, but it's kind of rough. It'll probably do better. It'll probably play better in a few years when like 90s nostalgia starts kicking in full gear like 80s nostalgia is. There's a 20-30 year rule on all those things. It's how trends work. It's weird how predictable we humans are. Back to the Future. We watched a Back to the Future Part 3 together, Jody. Not the first two, but the third one, yes. Because I met her in 1985. Mr. Roboto, Lobster Johnson, nobody puts Abe Sabi and Doug Jones in the corner. No, they don't. Malwinius So, man, I'm sorry. Malwinius, Cry Serrano, all from York. Uh, but Ron Perlman is spot on, in my opinion, and will be hard to beat him. I think it's impossible. I think we're just going to have to look at this as like, I honestly don't know why they didn't bring Ron Perlman. I mean, he could still do it. I guess maybe the makeup. This is like the best we're going to get besides that. Also, the director isn't, I mean, we're going from Guillermo del Toro now. Think what you want about that guy. You cannot deny he's a visionary. He's an absolute visionary, unique, fucking amazing director. And we're getting a pretty good Game of Thrones director, like a TV director doing this. That's a big, big jump. It's Alan Taylor, right? You get him mixed up with the other fucking Game of Thrones director. Oh God, who's directing the Hellboy movie now? I know it's a Game of Thrones director, and he hasn't done much else. But I mean, he's done some good episodes of Game of Thrones, so I mean, he's got that going for him. Neil Marshall, yeah, that's right, Neil Marshall. My bad. Neil Marshall he directed a couple episodes of Lost in Space, an episode of Westworld, episode of Hannibal, two great episodes of Game of Thrones, like two of the best, Blackwater and Watchers on the Wall. I mean, those are two of the top 5 episodes. Any movies? He did Constantine, the TV series. So he's done Timeless. So he's done a bunch of stuff that we like as a TV director. So I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be good. Who knows? He's cool. Love Guillermo del Toro. I like the Strain books. So not so much the show. Yeah, I couldn't get into the show either. Hellboy is directed by a Game of Thrones director. Does that mean everybody dies horribly and nothing really matters? This is Comrade Bunfred Putin's Axwielder. Postmodernism fantasy. Things matter in Game of Thrones. It's just it's how they matter. Does that make sense? He's still doing the hero's journey within Game of Thrones. He's just doing it with 2 separate characters who are probably going to both end up dead. But he's also doing it with Tyrion, who I still think will end up on the throne in the end of the books. Now, as far as the show is concerned, I don't know where the hell they're going with the show. So am I enjoying Fuller House? No, I don't watch it. I didn't watch Full House. I'm not going to watch Fuller House. I do not like sitcoms. I hate sitcoms. I like sitcoms when I was like 12 and I watched Three's Company and Happy Days. The only sitcom that I thought was any good was Married with Children. And I have not watched a sitcom regularly since. Was Scrubs considered a sitcom? I kind of like Scrubs. But yeah, like the kind of sitcom where like it's 2 cameras and there's a studio audience and stuff. Yeah, I can't watch that stuff. Game of Thrones is postmodernism by the book, except for that hero's journey in it. But it depends on how it ends, Mako. The Bentox for some coffee to keep going today. Thank you, the Bentox. Yes. Well, I've already had a big old cup. It's only 11 too. We got a while to go. But so far it is. Oh God, yes. Especially the first book. Oh God, yes. Speaking of Blade, do you think it's a coincidence Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Cloak and Dagger are seen as not as well done, to say the least, compared to Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and the Punisher? Rashid, they are you just got to see who's in control of the shows. The person who is involved with Jessica Jones, like her or not, was the director of the first Twilight Zone Oh my God, that was blaspheme. I'll beat myself later. Twilight movie. Daredevil was essentially run by Stephen Knight and Drew Goddard. At first, Drew Goddard is still involved. But they got the former Man in the High Castle showrunner for doing season 3. It's had different showrunners every season, but it's been pretty good. The Punisher had good showrunners. The people involved in Cloak and Dagger and Iron Fist, and even the Luke Cage were like ABC television people, and that's who helps produce these shows. It's ABC television. So we get a lot of ABC television moments. Cloak and Dagger was a hot mess. It was terrible. Oh, was that bad? That was bad. Am I breaking up with? No, I'm not breaking. Yes, I'm breaking up with George R. R. Martin until he finishes that goddamn book. I'm not buying anything. Definitely not buying anything. Okay. Oh yeah, check out Death Stranding. It's a game, but they got really great actors for it. Norman Reedus, Mads Mikkelsen, Guillermo del Toro, Lindsay Wagner. Really? So what's it called again? Death Stranding? No, Jody, nobody can replace Guillermo del Toro. You just try to, but you don't try to direct like him either. Peter Jackson kind of got caught up in that in the first Hobbit movie. Third Rock from the Sun, caught a couple episodes. It was all right. I didn't like watch it religiously though. Guillermo del Toro wants to do an HP Lovecraft movie. He'd be okay for the job. That's going to be tough though. But it will be Guillermo del Toro's HP Lovecraft movie, not an HP Lovecraft movie. You want to talk about almost impossible to adapt? I do not watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I tried to watch that sitcom with Alan Tudyk about the superheroes, and that was really bad. It was very, very bad. After binging season 1, I suddenly found myself driven away from the show, and the Telltale game did give my love for that show. Oh, The Killing Blow. So the Telltale game fucked it up for you. Got it. And he's cross-talking. Yeah, it's I played the Telltale game. Gary, did you watch Comment? I have not watched Comment. I need to watch Comment. Dennis says it's good. We're going to be watching Future Man. I would love a decent Lovecraft movie, Mountains of Madness. There's a fake trailer out there on YouTube. First time I saw it, I thought, yes, finally. And then says Malwinius. Comrade Burnfred says Brooklyn Nine-Nine is not your typical sitcom. It's very good, and I'll check it out. The first 4 seasons of Vikings were awesome. They're returning November 28th, says Jasper Seho. Viking bitch will be there with her boiled leather and her sword and her mace and her steed and whatever else Vikings. I don't know if they had steeds or not. I don't know. But you know what I'm talking about. First season of Future Man was good. Excited for season 2. Yeah, Dennis. I love Dennis like a brother. Like Dennis, like a brother. But sometimes he gets on the spectrum about stuff and just like he'll like something and has to bring it up like every 30 minutes. It's like a tick with him. Man, Future Man is it right now. He's like he winds it into conversations. All Future Man, you got to watch Future Man. Okay. It's like fine, dude. I'll watch Future Man. I'm sure I'll love it. A Lovecraft movie, but only with Harvey and Harriet Cthulhu. Yes. Well, of course. Doomcock could do a a Lovecraft movie. I think he would write a great one. I don't know if does Doomcock have directing chops. I know he's got writing chops. Yeah, he does. He does. He's got very good presentation in his videos, to be honest with you. Powerless, yeah, it was. That would have they should have stuck with their original concept for the characters of working in the insurance company in charge of covering superhero related policies. You would have had to get dark. See, The Boys is going to do something similar to that, but you'll just see. Truth Apocalypse said Future Man was okay. Seems the character who are more powered on Marvel Netflix have less vision and can't afford to truly be done right. That's the point I was trying to make about Luke, Danny, and Cloak and Dagger. And that's a great point, Rashid, that they just don't have the money for it. And that was pretty much what I bitched about for an hour straight with Iron Fist, was like, don't make these shows if you can't make them. If you can't make them, don't make them. Iron Fist, just if you look at the cover, that's probably all they did. They're like, the guy's got a glowing fist. How hard could it be to make? And then they started actually learning about the character and like, oh, what? He's got to be like a martial arts master that makes like quadruple black belts look bad. And we have to have the flaming and Flynn, the glowing fist has like a trail on it. Okay. It's not just a glowing fist, for Christ's sake. And he has a costume that's iconic that every comic guy knows, every comic girl knows, everybody. But no, the creators of that show go, oh, it looks silly. And then when they actually they put the mask on and it's a comic accurate mask. It looked great. It looked fucking great. And they put it in for 2 seconds. But if you notice on a lot of their thumbnails, they put both of those guys in that with the mask on. You want to know why? Because that's your brand. That's why people watch that stuff. We don't want to see a bunch of people in street clothes beating the shit out of each other. That's called an action movie. It's called John Wick. It's not called Iron Fist. Fuck. Man, you slept in, Feisty Fan. You just getting up now? Girl, it's 11 o'clock. Better get some coffee. Future Man is entertaining. Also, warning, big donkey dongs are in full display. Yikes. Well, no wonder why Dennis likes it. Now, the question is answered. Donkey balls. Mr. Roboto says ga, like Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga. Oh, I might be able to escape. I think I'm going to escape watching that movie tonight. I think I got to watch it tomorrow, though. No, that's Wednesday. Because tomorrow we're doing Man in the High Castle. Tonight we're doing Better Call Saul finale. We're doing Manifest one more time. I don't know if I'm going to stick with that or not. And of course, we're doing Farscape tonight. Farscape's going to be an open discussion. We hope, please tell your friends, share that around. Like, we want to get a lot of Farscape people in and just start talking about that show. And, the main thing about that show, you watch it and, it came out, 99. So it is old. It is almost 20 years old. The writing totally holds up as far as the camaraderie and, it's that's what's kind of missing in today's show. And the more I watch it, the more I realize that Guardians of the Galaxy is just fucking Farscape and Marvel Universe. But it's still good. So good. But that's all it is. And I'm not saying even Farscape invented the concept of a ship out, that's been done many, many times. That concept of like a group of people out, they're lost. Gilligan's Island basically is Farscape. Okay. So yeah. Sorry, I get caught up into reading the chat and I'm like, oh yeah, you guys need to hear it too. I just started recently binging every episode Viking Bitch. However, I don't really like the first half of season 5. What are you watching? Oh, Vikings. I was like, season 5, Farscape. Oh, Vikings. Catch up, Gary. Yeah, Rashid, I am been working on a video for quite some time. It's actually going to get released next week on the superhero costume problem and why like Hollywood still has this. I've actually got quite a few in the can. There's some I've actually just trashed, which sucks because I put so much work into them. But I consider it practice. And then I get finished and I'm like, oh, the timing sucks. Well, they're not trashed. I mean, they're there. If I need to pop them up, I could. But they'll probably never see the light of day. Like that Spock one I put up. I almost didn't put that up. I'm like, do I want to put this up? It's only like 4 minutes. You know, it's not really our thing here. I am so excited for the boys. Not really. I am super excited. The boys is going to be fucking amazing, Viking bitch. It's going to be everything you like in a show. Everybody's going to like this. It's if anyone else out there reading Doomsday Clock, it's a sequel to Watchmen, and it's even more relevant today. Amako, I would not go that far. It's decent. Gary Frank art is pretty good. Jeff Johns ain't no Alan Moore. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, but it's yeah. I like the fact that there's interaction between the DC and for one, it's absolutely sacrilege to do that, but it's since they already did before Watchmen, then DC can do whatever the fuck they want. Feisty, how is it selling? Is it still selling good in the comic shops? I mean, I still get both covers because I am I didn't get to sleep till 4 a.m. May have something to do with Farscape. Were you binging last night? Yes. Feisty, did you finish Farscape? I took some extensive notes. Netflix produces a lot of mediocre shows and sci-fi flicks. It's no wonder they don't have money for superhero shows. Just decide Netflix. What is it? Quality content or mass content? Well, it's mass. And the question with Netflix is they are not the ones paying for the Marvel shows. They just show them. The ones paying for the Marvel shows, I mean, they might have a few bucks involved in it, but that's ABC and Marvel Television. They're the ones with it that are being cheap. Watch Alter Carbon and then watch Iron Fist. And you're like, what? But you're absolutely right, Comrade Burnfred, that Netflix got a huge influx from investors, something to the tune of $8 billion. And we're seeing the result of that now. They just they greenlit fucking everything. And they come out with a movie or two a week now, it seems like. And yeah, a lot of them are just really mediocre or pretty damn awful. And then once in a while we get a Maniac. Maniac was good. Maniac was really good. I highly recommend it. But that's 1 out of every 10, Comrade. You're right. We're getting a lot of that, but that's kind of a good thing. Because for one, that's not going to happen forever. They're going to run out of money and they're going to have to be more, discreet on what they choose. But right now, they're like, let's make everything. They're like, Netflix is, they're at their parents' house. They've just done a lot of coke. The parents aren't going to be back for a couple weeks, and they left them some money while, they're off in the Bahamas or something like that. Rashid says, I like Killing Eve. It's about an MI6 officer and her team trying to track down an assassin across Europe. It was on BBC America earlier this year. Yes, Viking bitch loved it. We need to see a genuine superhero in his or her costume. Yes, Mary Ashmead, we do. Like in their fucking costume. Now, Jessica Jones has no costume. That's fine. That's cool. But they still openly make fun of costumes within these shows, which really irritates me. I'm going to point that one out. Truth Apocalypse says, I still have 3 episodes to go on Man in the High Castle. Truth, tell me what you think of those last 3 episodes, though. Because what the entire fuck? Did you watch the trailer for Sabrina on Netflix? I did. It looks kind of interesting. It still kind of approaches CW for me, but we're gonna check it out. The Sailing Coconut. We're definitely gonna do a review on it. We ordered 120 copies, including the variant, and we always sell out. So there it is. It's still doing good. Let's here, I'll go to Comic-Con. We're going to Comic-Con. Talk amongst yourselves. Marvel's still kicking DC's ass. Did it get delayed or something? Yeah, it must have get delayed because it's not in the top 10. Did it get delayed a month there, Feisty fan? Yeah, I don't see it in the top 10. Let's go to the month of no, I don't want to do that right now. Yeah, so it must yeah, it's hard to say because it's not in the top 10 right now. But wipe it out of 120 copies. That's good. Is that both covers? Is that 120 of each cover, or is that 60 of each cover, Feisty? Alter Carbon is the sheet. Freaking amazing, said Truth Apocalypse. Yeah, it's good shit. I love that show. Alter Carbon was awesome. Hopefully Joe Kinnaman comes back. He's not, Jasper. They're going to have a whole new cast. And they're going to find out, like with True Detective, that shows like that just don't work. People get attached to a star, not the concept or the world. I think they can take that risk though. Like I said before, it's Netflix. They can lose money and it's fine. But Joe Kinnaman was the reason people watch that show. He was fucking amazing in it. And yeah, he's like leading guy material for sure. I thought he was one of the better things in Suicide Squad. So Mary Ashmead says Maniac was way good. Yes. Netflix. 6-scale combat. That was a good one. I like that. Netflix. Oh, Mr. Miracle went off the fucking cliff for me, Mako. I was loving the shit out of that comic book. Hopefully but it just got so blank towards the end. And also I think I'm not a fan of King, so I quit reading his Batman. Now I'm gonna have to pick up reading it again once I start the shop, but not a fan of Tom King. 90 copies of the regular, 40 is a variant, so it's actually 130 copies. I can't math. Me neither. That's about what I would sell in my shop, probably. Based on, I don't know how many subs you had, but the thing is though, comic fans are the most habitual buyers in the world. What's the general sentiment of the story, Feisty? My guess is a bunch of newer fans are like totally cool with it, and a bunch of older fans are like, fuck this, blah, blah. I was okay with the concept. I love Gary Frank's art. Fucking rules. It's so the guy's getting better. Comrade Burford Axfielder says, High Castle. Was that the show where where the Nazis win World War II? I like also altered reality flicks. Vaterland and Rutger Hauer was a flawed movie with many errors with Berlin, but it also it felt so real. Man in the High Castle is a great concept. It's a great little short story by Philip K. Dick. They expanded on it quite a bit. Season 3 was really delayed. Season 2 came out in 2016. right? So it's been a while since season 2 came out. It had Comrade, I don't know if you saw it, a brilliant season 1, like a fucking amazing Twilight Zone, trippy, kick-ass season 1. Season 2, I don't know what the hell happened to the show. It like I think they were only expecting to make, I mean, this is just a crazy guess here. I don't really know this. Um, it seems like they only expected to get one season out of it, and it's probably all they should have really done, to be honest with you. So it really went off the chain. Season 3 comes back. It's pretty good. It adds way too many characters. Um, lack of a better term. It's Man in the High Castle being made in the current year politics with the Me Too Times Up era in mind. And as with a lot of shows we've been watching, it changed the direction of the story completely. It's going heavier on sci-fi this year, because before it was whatever elements we're talking about, it was only just mentioned in whispers and secrets and alluded to, and then there was of course the ending of season 1, which I won't tell you what happened. And the thing is, the show has their main characters that were introduced in season 1 were all really great, interesting characters that I wanted to know about, but all the things they added since then are like don't even match the characters from season 1. You will know what I'm talking about after I talk about the show on Tuesday. Because I mean, I half liked what I saw and I half hated it. Joel Kinnaman for Adam Warlock. Yes. I love that pick, Rashid. That's a great pick. That's true. Hope they take their time for a good second season of Altered Carbon. No rush like True Detective, right, Felipe? Anthology series are fine, but take your time. God, True Detective season 1 was perfection. That was so good. Joel Kinnaman was so awesome in Altered Carbon, says Mary Ashby. Totally agree. Is Maniac good on Netflix? Matt Guy, it is. It really is. Go watch it. Preacher versus Hellboy. What is the better comic? So tough for me. Why do you ask me these questions, Truth Apocalypse? That is not even fair. Okay, it's a gun to my head. Gun to my head. Hellboy. Hellboy. I will say Hellboy because while Preacher, I believe, had the better ending, I like Mike Mignola's art more than I like Steve Dillon's art. There, I said it. I feel like something died inside me. I do. Thanks, Truth Apocalypse. Just kidding. People love it. I haven't heard anything negative about from the shop. I'm like 3 issues behind. I got to reread it. I liked it at first. It's I don't know. I'm not. Johns is an okay writer. He's no Alan Moore though. Maybe when it's all done, we'll do a review on it. And generally with a miniseries, if people are still buying it, it's the people who liked it. And the people who don't like it will either buy it to finish the set or not buy it and not talk about it. I haven't heard a bunch of negative talk, Feisty. What I haven't heard is any talk. That's the kind of thing I'm wondering. Is this going to be just a forgotten miniseries? And with all miniseries, it's how they end. It's how they end. I remember Civil War was the greatest thing ever written until it ended. And then people weren't saying that. So we'll see how it ends and what repercussions it has. This whole taking DC down, Feisty fan, were you were working in a comic shop during the New 52 days, were you? It looks like that's where we're headed with DC, with this Heroes in Crisis thing. It looks like we're just repeating the New 52, and those were dark days for DC. Some good stuff was in there. I'll never forget that they canceled their best book at the time was Zatanna, and it was being written by mostly by Paul Dini, and they canceled that book for the 52. I was so fucking pissed. Pre New 52 Zatanna is one of the best comics ever written. It's so good. Takes place in San Francisco. High Castle became pure multiverse story. It did, Mako, and yeah, that's where they're definitely headed next season too. I have a little short box worth of reading to do. I am a little behind on my leisure reading, but I always read number ones and events on Tuesdays. Last week I had to read 15 comics. Yeah, I know what that's like. Yeah, so as far as what they did in season 3, I can't spoil season 3, comrade. But they yeah, if I said it, it would spoil it as far as what they did in Man in the High Castle season 3. You just gotta watch my review. I'll talk about it. It's not glaring, but it is. It is. I know that doesn't make sense, but when I talk about Man in the High Castle, you will hear it. It definitely got infected with a lot of stuff from that's happening right now. And it's not supposed to. It's got its own political message. It does. It really does. It doesn't need to inject political messages from today. It really has a very powerful, strong political message. And it does. It's a brave show. It goes there in some aspects, and then it really chicken shits out in others. And I'm going to talk about it. It might be a little tough talk on Man in a High Castle. It might be a little tough talk, but because it has opportunities to tell really good stories, but instead it really went down to just typical Hollywood. And that's why most shows die. You know, I started reading Doomsday Clock when I added Metal, where I just lost that. Fuck, damn it, Mako. I'm sorry. I just lost the. I hate it when I lose a chat. It just bumped out on me right when I was reading it. Oh my god, I don't know what a best Gundam series is. I watched all the Gundam Unicorn and I liked it, but I don't know. I don't know Gundam or Voltron. That is a Dennis question. Yes, so the Sailing Coconut. Netflix got the rights to the live action Last Airbender series, and the creators of the series are working on the live action one. So that is good. I don't know if all of them are. There was 3 of them. I believe one of them, they had a falling out with one of them, and that's who did the Dragon Prince. Sorry, Mako. I'm looking for your chat that I was reading in the middle of. And you started reading Doomsday Clock. Gary, since you're answering questions, well, that's what I do here. Are you pro underwear on the outside for comic book heroes? Yes, absolutely. 100%. I mean, they're wearing capes. Who gives a shit if the underwear's on the outside? If all of a sudden that starts looking stupid to you, again, I question like if you should be around comic books anymore, you know? Comic books are cheesy. They're cheesy. That's what they are. They are Swiss cheesy, cheddar cheesy cheese shit. That's what they are. And that's what I like about them. But the great thing about comic books is they're everything. They're absolutely everything. You can tell the Preacher story, or you can tell fucking Peter Porker Spider Ham. That's why it's really the perfect medium for me. Yeah, you could tell all kinds of stories, and it's comics have something for everybody. I only read Scott Snyder's Batman run in 52 when it came back for Rebirth. 52 was dark times indeed. Yeah. Um, God, I read all of it. It was just really, there was some good stuff in it, but for the most part, and that's Dan Didio. Yep. I have a complete set of everything from the new 52 downstairs in long boxes. I plan to light a fire with it someday. Cobra Kai is amazing. Cobra Kai is amazing. uh, Six Scale Combat asks, anyone into Cursed Earth Coburn? I know. Should we be? And every day should be a sober day. Chris, as a kid, I know it's inspired by wrestlers, but I really have quite got apart from oh, there's another one. I read it because I got extra cash and I like the art. Bendis is reimagining Superman again. I hope they get something else. They get someone else. Can't wait for Grant Morrison's Green Lantern. Yeah, I can't wait for Grant Morrison's Green Lantern either. I'll read it, even though he's a shit. And Bendis sucks now, and that kills me to say it, but he, because I used to be a big fan of his, but it's terrible. I just flat out stopped reading it. It's like, I've only have so much time in the world and wasting it on Bendis right now. And then God, I don't know what DC was doing. They were doing so well. DC is so good at like maintaining their number two-ness in the world. They like when they have a chance to rise to the top, to top Marvel, they always seem to find a way to make sure they're number two. It's almost like they're happy there. They don't want to be number one. What the fuck, DC? And I've got your pinpoint right when it happened. That fucking wedding. We've had quite a few people starting to drop Action Comics and Superman. Apparently, they aren't happy with Bendis's direction. Yep. There it goes. I was just saying, I started adding comics to my pull list, started Doomsday Clock, and then added Metal, Superman. Now I'm about 10 comics a month, all by DC. Yeah, I'm not all DC. As a matter of fact, I got to go get my comics. It has been far too long. Far too long. Okay, so everybody survived the weekend, right? You all survived the weekend. We survived the fucking Star Trek Discovery stuff and Doctor Who. Nobody's heads exploded, and that was good. Doomcock's head is fine, I believe. I haven't talked to him in a while. I'm sure he's busy. And everybody's doing good. Everybody's doing good. Channel had a great fucking weekend. I will not lie. We did very good this weekend. What's in store for the future? Well, of course, there's Farscape. We've been talking about it this entire podcast. We're going to do Farscape at 4:30 p.m. today. We are also going to do the Better Call Saul finale at 7:15 p.m. Then Manifest later. Then, of course, Gifted is going to be a recorded. I will not subject you to live recordings of us bitching about Gifted anymore because fuck, it's the Gifted. What happens beyond that? I don't know. We're not going to be doing daily nooners yet. I feel like it's too soon for that. As much fun as I had doing it, and I honestly could do it every day, like no problem. I just don't want to burn you guys out. Okay, so and I also want to keep like our special live stream special, but we are going to add a Wednesday show now. It's going to flip flop. It's going to be at night sometimes, and it's going to be in the morning sometimes. Just got to pay attention to the schedule. But we are adding another, it'll probably mostly be a nooner. So it'll, check the schedule, but like this Wednesday it'll be at 9:30 a.m. Then Friday Night Tights, of course. This weekend, we're also doing a Venture Brothers like Requiem for season 7. I'd like Viking Bitch to join us for that one if she can. Sometime this weekend. It's a Q&A. We're going to be reading all of our comments, which are some of them are fucking rich. Believe me, they're good. and we're going to talk about Venture Brothers season 7. We're doing the Haunting on Hill House is going to be on the 12th. Titans comes out the 12th. Now, the deal with Titans is it drops at midnight. So, yeah, and I don't know if that's going to be 9:00 our time. So I'm going to probably be doing the recap on the 11th when it drops, probably pretty late at night. So I'll probably just do a recording of that. A friend of mine saw Titans and said it was a hot, steaming pile of mastodon shit. I think that's what the quote was. So looking forward to that. But we are that's a weekly show and we're going to be covering it. There's so many shows coming out. So many fucking shows. January is going to be ridiculous, guys. Counterparts coming back. There is a possibility Good Omens is coming out in January. There's a lot of shit coming in January. It's going to be nuts. Oh, thanks, Jody. Says my Doctor Who review was brilliant. I appreciate that. I think Doctor Who review was complete success, Gary. You know a lot about Who, and the show suits that kind of chat podcast review. It does. I'm glad. I was kind of surprised that many people showed up for the live thing. I was pleasantly surprised. The shows we've gotten the most live people on were that Doctor Who show, Westworld towards the end, and Star Trek Discovery. We always got a lot of people live for Star Trek Discovery. Those were fun chats, but we were able to, especially the Star Trek Discovery chats, which could get real salty. We were able to navigate those pretty good. So, and there was both sides of the argument. Yeah, don't want to, yeah. Yeah, I have not. Whoa. Yeah, I haven't talked to Doomcock about Doctor Who. I'm curious to what he thinks about it, but I'm sure he'll let us know. He's busy. He's a busy guy. He's like building robots and conquering the world. He ain't got time for all that Doctor Who shit. No, I'm sure he'll do something. Doomcock is fucking awesome. Love that guy. So all hail Doomcock, by the way. All hail Doomcock. And please check out the Tribunal, which is Mecha Random 42 and Tom for Midnight's Edge After Dark. Where was Tom this morning? He bailed on me. No, he's probably busy working. Rolocat says watched Who, did not hate it. That is the general sentiment. I think the sentiment is wasn't great, wasn't terrible. It was pretty good. And you know what? Pretty good is okay sometimes. And yes, all hail Doomcock. Please check out his channel, Overlord DVD. Like, share, and subscribe. Same with Mecha Random 42. Same with Tom from Midnight's Edge After Dark with Rob. Also check out Sculpted Art by Viking Bitch. She is a good friend of the channel, pretty much the defunct channel's producer. And she does this amazing, like really unique leather art that I think you should all check out. It's brilliant. And she will be joining us today on the channel. I think for the first time on the channel. I mean, we've chatted in Hangouts, but this will be a first time for her on the channel. So I'm excited. I'm excited for that. It's going to be fun. The Teen Titans cartoon, the serious cartoon is coming back, Adam West, and I am looking forward to that. I love that show. The Teen Titans are my favorite thing from DC. I have a complete run of, I'm talking back to the Silver Age. I have every Teen Titans book. I fucking love that comic book. I really wanted that series to be good. I'm really pissed that Akiva Goldsman is writing it. It upsets me to no end. It upsets me to no end that they made Starfire look like a lady of the night, a partition of the practicer of the world's oldest profession. And that sucks. That really sucks. It sucks for the actress. It sucks for everybody. She didn't ask to be costumed that way. But you can't costume somebody that way and then go, I can't believe you said that. It's like, really? 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 She's wearing fur. I mean, it might be faux fur, but it's fur. We all know that Farscape won't get good views, but it's all about the passion. You can always move it to the website, Gary. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. See, the great timing about that, Mako, is when you want to do a passion project video, what you do is try to sandwich it either between or behind like a couple really successful videos. Had a very good weekend for this channel. When we get multiple thousands of views on our videos, especially when they're not like 5-minute videos and 10-minute videos, they're 1 hour and 18-minute videos, and those multiple thousand views engage themselves for longer than 15 minutes. That's awesome. That's brilliant. That's called engagement, is what you want, is engagement. It's not always about the clicks. It's about the minutes watched, folks. Little insider dope on the YouTube. Young Justice is awesome. We could have done without a stream on Midnight's Edge before you guys start, Gary. Hopefully we won't cross the streams with you. We should be done. Oh, I mean, tonight? It's all right. Mecca, when we do a show specific stream, it's more of a live recording of a video. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm not worried about people crossing over anything, because when we talk about a specific subject, we're not going to get everybody on board on that one anyway. We're going to get who we get. So when I like, if you need to start a stream and it's an open stream and it's competing up against like a TV show I'm doing, I don't care. Go for it. Rock on. Because all I'm doing basically is recording a video. The vast majority of my clicks on recap videos come later. They're not live. Shit. Like for Better Call Saul, sometimes I have like 15 people watching. It's no big deal. But then later on, it gets, over 1,000 views, and that's fine. Doctor Who yesterday had, 160 people watching. But if you go back and watch through the analytics during that 1 hour I was on, it had 500 people coming in and out. So that was good. Who are you more excited about? See, the Avengers 4 Annihilus or Doomcock? Doomcock. I'm always more excited to see Doomcock. Annihilus wants to kill us all. At least Doomcock wants to work with me a little bit. I mean, of course I'm just a lowly subject, but you know how that goes. It's all right, Mac. Yeah, whenever you're done, that's fine. We're just talking about Farscape tonight. I'm talking about specific shows tonight. So, I mean, what we want to watch out is when we're doing open streams, we want to watch out stepping out our toes on that stuff as much as possible. But yeah, when I'm doing a specific TV show, I'm not tripping. I'm not tripping anyway. I don't care. It's whatever. I mean, we're gonna cross our streams. It's gonna happen. Yeah, the whole season review will be quite long. I mean, it's gonna be a discussion. I don't know how much of a review it will be, but yeah, we're talking News on Meat at 4 to 5 Central Time. So that is what, 3 my time? Yeah, they're going to cross. They're definitely going to cross, but that's how it goes. Yeah, I schedule my stuff. Actually, I put my schedule up a week in advance. I have my stuff scheduled out 1 month. I was working on that till 2 a.m. last night. I have stuff scheduled out to January now, because that's where all the shows are coming back. But it's mostly TV stuff. I haven't scheduled any open live streams yet. I'm so glad you did so well in the chat, Nerdrotic channel. I'm glad Newt. Oh, okay. I'm glad it was, and everyone was nice in the chat. Gary brings that out in people. Oh, well, I try. Anybody have any money they didn't particularly need anymore? Feel free to throw it my way, Captain Robert April. That's funny. But yeah, it's just better. It's not a good look. Come on, Cap. We're not sure when we're starting exactly. Got to wait till Tom is off work and when Rob is available. I know you're just kidding, Cap, by the way. This is the end, my old friend. This is the end. Where did the economy go? Captains need extra money. I know. I thought captains got good money, right? I would love another series set in the Farscape universe. I think a lot of people would if you just don't mess with the originals, and that's a big old universe. You can just fly around in there. I think that would do well. I think it would do well. Yeah, you know what, Captain Robert April, what Mecca just said right there. I mean, it takes time, and I know it sounds like obvious, but the obvious is true most of the time. You keep making content, you come out with the content consistently, and your subscriber base will go up. But you got to stick with it like a long time. And the results vary. The results vary. It depends on what kind of content you do over there. Like our content is never going to get us like once in a while. Like it happened for us once, but we're set on slow growth here. So I've been doing this seriously for a year now, and the results have been great. I wish I could pop up the picture. I showed it to Dennis yesterday of where we were at views wise and subscriber wise 1 year ago at this time. We had 330 subscribers and somewhere around close to 100,000 total page clicks. We are approaching 1 million. We'll be at 1 million by the end of the month, total page clicks. And we're at 6,100 subs, which is fucking awesome. So, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate all you guys, allowing me to do this. This is fucking great. It's so much fun. I can't wait for it to be part of the comic shop. It's going to be fucking brilliant. And yeah, so things are working out okay, man. Thanks to the super chats who were, let me pop them over here. And there were the Bentox, Mr. For $4.99, Mr. Roboto for $2, Sculpted Leather Art by Viking Bitch, $2, Mr. Roboto for $2, Tomcat for $5, the Bentox for $2.99. Thank you so much, everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome. Let's thank you. Once I can find the goddamn chat again. Where'd it go? Where'd you go? There you go. Mecha Random 42, Truth Apocalypse, Sculpted Leather Art by Viking Bitch, Mary Ashmead, Destiny Captain, Chris Persia, the mighty Chris Persia. Hail, Chris Persia. 6 Scale Combat, Halam 899, Adam West, Jody, Penn Farm Girl, Kato Roan. Did I say Destiny Captain? I'll say it again. Then we go up to Malwinius Serrano Alfrem from York. Hope I got that right. Philip A. Demick. And I already said those. There's more. There's more. Feisty Fan, Rolo Cat, Melody Hill, Jez Oldfield, Nigel Brott Savage, Matt Guy, Doug 34. We are continuing to thank all the people in the chat who showed up today. Speedster, Rashid C, Comrade Burnfred, Putin's axe wielder. And that's as far up as Felipe Diaz. That's as far up as I can go. And I know he's listening out there. The official Dougie J. The official Dougie J. What's up, my brother? I know you're out there listening. You're probably just too busy to chat or whatever. That's okay. That's fine. Yeah, we had up to like 90 people watching at one point. So that was great. It's awesome to have so many new friends in here for the chat. Of course, we do this every Monday morning around 9:30. The other regular live stream we do is Friday at 8 p.m. We are adding a Wednesday show. I haven't totally decided if it's going to be morning or night or both, but the next one is next Wednesday at 9:30 is the next nooner. That is for sure. And we'll see you all later. I guess, yeah. So Mecha Random said she's doing a news live stream with Midnight's Edge After Dark with Tom and Rob. Roll over and check that out when it starts. It's between 4 to 5 Central Time. But check out their channels and you can see when it starts. And I'm sure we'll be hearing from Doomcock sooner than later. And I hope he's doing really good. And you guys, we'll see you for Farscape, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Time. If you just want to have some Farscape talk. All right. So everybody have a great, great day. May the small folks sing songs of your greatness.